cannabis. 2 years ago, the city basically put a complete moratorium on any cannabis-related products in town. I think for human consumption, it's a little peculiar because the pet store has CBD oil for dogs or pets. So at the time, it was probably prudent because we didn't know how things were going to shake out with the legalization here in California. Now I believe it's time to reevaluate it, see what's going on, see how it's impacted other cities. I don't personally use it. My religious beliefs, I don't drink or use drugs. I understand, people use it. I spent many years in the music industry, ran a record label. I have a lot of friends that are musicians. Most of the adults I know outside of my church smoke pot. I've seen the medical benefits of CBD. It's quite impressive. I think it's time that we look at changing our zoning or our permissions here in town. And initially, I was against the idea of a pot shop in town, but in further consideration, if you think about it, the kids can get this stuff no problem, because when it's illegal, that means nobody's checking ID. The amount of drug traffic that goes on at the schools and at some of the bars here that I've personally seen, people shooting up heroin at one of the bars, I'm not going to name them, and other sales of Xanax and Ativan and pot, meth deals. I've actually seen this all go down just on the patio of the bars. So the illegal drug trade is pretty brisk in town. And if you were to have an actual sanctioned pot shop, you could put a lot of restrictions on it. People are just driving out of town to get it. So you would have the tax revenue. You could encourage educational awareness training, things like that. It has to be reevaluated. I'm not going to just say, yeah, let's just do it, because I want to see what's going on in the rest of the state, what's working, what's not working, if it's not working at all. But I don't think it would increase the illegal drug trade in town. It could reduce it, potentially. So it's definitely worth consideration. In terms of CBD and more medically oriented cannabis-related items, I would say those definitely need a quick re-review, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to not allow it. And I also think it's a little disingenuous when we have over 24 liquor licenses in town for the city council to be against something like marijuana. And this is a weird place for me to be personally, because I don't use it. I don't encourage people to use it, but I also understand the reality of society and where people get it and people using it anyway. So I had to really take an unbiased and objective look at this topic to come to this consideration and conclusion. So I hope you appreciate that I'm trying to come at this as honestly as possible.